forest bathing was invented in Japan in the 1980s, which is fairly recently, but it does have its kind of roots in Japanese traditions, culture, and religion. So in Japanese, it's called Shinrin-yoku, and that literally translates as forest immersion. So it was developed specifically to help office workers in the 1980s, because a lot of people were moving from sort of rural areas into the cities and working in offices. And they were finding that this was giving them quite a lot of health problems because they were having little or no access to fresh air and natural surroundings. And it was becoming really bad for their health. So since then, there's been lots of studies done in Japan and in the UK as well more recently. And these have shown that the effects of forest bathing are that it can help to lower levels of stress hormones in the body. So hormones, adrenaline and cortisol, which are really bad if they kind of build up and are present in the body all the time. It improves mental health. It can improve your sleep. It can even help with weight control, even though it's kind of a very slow and gentle practice. And it can also boost your immune system. Some of the chemicals that trees give off actually interact with the human body to help boost the NK cells, the natural killer cells, which are what helps us fight off disease. So it's really good for you, and the sort of instant result is that you feel happier and less stressed. So forest bathing is more than just going for a walk in a forest. Although that's really good for you as well, if you can just get out into nature and go for a quick walk every so often in the winter, that's really, really beneficial. But forest bathing is about sort of doing activities that allow you to connect to nature and your surroundings by using all of your senses. So as I mentioned before, I am a forest bathing guide. And having a forest bathing guide means that you can kind of fully relax into the experience, because you're not thinking about, oh, I need to do this now, I need to do that. The forest bathing guide will invite you to participate in these sensory experiences so that you can enhance your connection to the forest around you. So we're not going to be doing any rushing or hurrying for the next 10 minutes or so. I know at this time of year that can be really difficult, especially when your mind is racing and you've got kind of, you know, lots of thoughts going on of what you need to be doing and right, need to move on, need to be doing. And all those things in the back of your mind, like need to put the tree up, need to wrap the Christmas presents. Those things are kind of all floating around in your mind all the time. So if this is the case for you, then I would say that it's even more important that you do take a bit of time out and do something relaxing, kind of mindful practice, because after it you'll feel so much better prepared mentally to deal with all of that stuff that's going on in your head. So before we set off on our virtual forest bathing session, I'd like you to imagine taking all of that mental chatter and all that stuff that's going on in your head and just kind of ravel it all up like a big ball of wool, so that it's kind of in a big ball in front of you, and then just imagine putting it down on the ground next to you. So we're going to leave it there. It'll still be there when we come back, but as I said before, you should have a bit more mental clarity to enable you to kind of unravel it when you get back. So we're going to go on quite a slow and peaceful walk through a forest on a sunny day in winter. So I'll invite you to close your eyes in a minute and just imagine your own forest or woodland. So it could be somewhere that you know well, or it could be somewhere that's a place from your imagination. But imagine a winter forest, and imagine what that woodland looks like. Are the trees really old, sort of big twisted oak trees, or is it a fairly young woodland with kind of straight trunked tall trees? Is the landscape flat around you, or are there hills? Just get your idea of the forest in your mind before we start. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly share my screen so that we've got a nice foresty background. Just bear with me a second. Should be able to hear some birds singing in a minute. Okay, so can everybody see the forest? Just let me know in the chat box if you can see that. Okay.
Yeah, they can hold.
Thank you. So I'll invite you now to close your eyes and imagine standing at the entrance to the forest. It's really early morning, just as the sun is shining through the trees at a low angle. There's no one else around. It's all quiet, except for the birds. And you're all wrapped up nice and warm. And you open the gate into the forest with your gloved hand and step through and close it behind you. So you're now in the forest and you just pause for a moment to breathe in the fresh woodland air. Taking a big deep breath in and letting it out through either your mouth or nose. Breathing in deeply again and letting go of any stress or tension as you breathe out. It's really good for you if you can make your exhale slightly longer than your inhale. So as we take one more deep breath in, as you breathe out, try and make that exhale just slightly longer than the inhale. Take a couple more big deep breaths. Sigh out all the stress and tension. Now you can return your breath to a more normal breathing pattern, but I'd like to invite you to keep breathing quite steadily and deeply as we go on our journey through the forest. As you begin to walk slowly and quietly into the woods, you first notice the sounds of the birds in the trees around you. There are chaffinches, robins, blackbirds, and other woodland birds as well. As you breathe deeply, you tune into the rhythms and melodies of their different songs. How many different ones can you hear? Can you hear any other sounds in the background as well? The wind in the trees, the leaves rustling. Continue breathing in and out deeply as you make your way along the woodland path. Imagine looking up into the trees and seeing the sunshine shining brightly through the winter leaves. You feel the sunlight warming your face and the light shining bright. You notice all of the colours of the leaves that are still clinging onto the branches of the trees. Browns, yellows, oranges, looking really vibrant now with the sunlight. You notice a few leaves falling gently and fluttering down to the ground. There's a really nice word for when trees lose their leaves in the autumn, and it's called abscission. It's just a really nice word. You continue taking nice deep breaths as you walk slowly into the woods. And as you're breathing in, you begin to notice the smells all around you. Imagine what smells you might be able to smell in this woodland. Maybe cool, damp leaves, or a fresh, mossy smell. The scent of mushrooms and toadstools in the damp earth. Or perhaps even the smell of pine trees if there's any pine trees around. As you continue to breathe deeply, Imagine all those smells filling your nose and your whole body, immersing yourself even more deeply into your surroundings. You pause again for a moment and feel the cool, gentle breeze on your face. It feels cleansing and refreshing, as if gently blowing away your cares and worries, leaving you with just the forest around you. I'd like you to imagine now, as you stand among the trees, roots growing out from beneath your feet and down into the cool, dark earth. As your roots go deeper under the ground, they start to intertwine with the roots of the trees, joining up with these other living beings that have been standing here for centuries. Also the fungi roots, or mycelium, which are the forest's communication system, sending chemical messages between the trees. All of this is now intertwined with your roots, growing down out of your feet. You feel welcome and grounded, as if hugging an old friend, and you're instantly transported back through millennia, for as long as forests and humans have evolved together. You feel perfectly at home, relaxed, and where you're meant to be. You continue to breathe deeply as you and the forest silently speak to each other, taking in the sounds, smells, and sensations of the winter woodland. If your mind begins to wander, that's what the mind does. Just gently bring it back to the present, the sounds of the forest, your breath, and imagining the cool breeze and sunlight on your face. Now I'd like to invite you to slowly start to untangle your roots from the roots of the trees and the mycelium beneath your feet. Roots are drawing back into your feet, and your feet suddenly feel lighter. And you slowly start to make your way back along the path that you came from. As you start to come out of the trees, everything gets gradually brighter as you head back into the sunlight. You quicken your pace a little and get the blood pumping around your body, allowing the positive energy of the forest to circulate and warm you. Just before you leave the forest, I'd like to invite everybody to take one last big deep breath in, and wherever you are right now, just stretch your arms upwards towards the sky and open your fingers like the branches of a tree. Take a really nice big stretch, and as you breathe out, lower your arms back down. You've now reached the gate at the entrance to the woods, so you open it and step out of the forest, carrying this positivity with you for the rest of your day. You can now open your eyes and come back to the present moment. Thank you very much for joining me on the forest bathing session, virtual forest bathing session. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope everyone's feeling a bit more relaxed now and ready to face the rest of your day.